I have the pleasure of being the wingman for Stephan Rifbjerg today. My name is Peter Laub. I am the commercial responsible for AEM for Nordics. So in case you want to know more about AEM products in the experience area with content, assets, and forums, reach out to me and I can help you with whatever questions you might have. So you've heard about a lot of new capabilities we've had inside tech documentation. This presentation will focus on the experience part, and for that we didn't find anyone more suitable than Stephan. He is kind of an experienced rock star. I would say he's maybe goes 20 years back with experience, I could say. Stephan is our solution consultant working out of Copenhagen and has been building and working with experience solutions for many, many years. Plan is to show as much content as possible. We're open to questions, so let's get started to see the inner workings of machine learning capabilities of AEM.
That was it. We solved it. Thank you, guys.
All right. So I just want to make one more comment before we head into Stephan's presentations and demos. So we have a lot of R&D crews around the world focusing on how we can speed up the time for the authoring teams, the people working with content, with assets, to get their experiences out quicker. So for that, we find that AI or machine learning is a very, very solid way to add very useful capabilities that can drive these processes for you much faster. So that's what I'm going to show you today. You'll see a lot of these areas of capabilities are coming in from you as customers. We find that ideas that you bring to us are put into the labs and posted out as sneaks, as you may see on the summits around the world. And the lead time for bringing such a sneak or a good idea into the product can be as low as 6 months, but average maybe 12 to 18 months. So a lot of the capabilities you'll see today is stuff that's come from the customers or from the labs and brought into the product in record time. Okay, let's see where we are.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to see if I can find a FrameMaker logo here, but
it's there.
It's where?
I think
I couldn't see it, but if it's not there, we need to get our shit together and build some stuff there. All right, good. So today's agenda: 10 things, 10 features or integrations, including AI, that will help your day become a much easier and joyful day. Let's start out with smart tagging. So, I don't know if anybody in here is working with InDesign, Illustrator, or Photoshop. Yeah. A lot of the marketeers struggle with finding content when they have it in their digital asset management system, because a lot of the content doesn't have the necessary metadata. How many of you who are using the Creative Cloud tools are actually putting in description and title and all the metadata and file info when you are creating the assets? I guess not many, right? And that's also what we see out in the landscape. So we created an AI method that can scan the image, analyze it, and compare it up against Adobe Stock, who has over 100 million assets in the database, and trying to come up with some suggestions on what kind of metadata is good and relevant for this asset. So let's see that in a demo. I'm jumping right into my live environment here. Let's just make it bigger. So, yeah. Oh, I was clicked too fast. All right. So let's look at an asset that I uploaded here, an image from a kitchen. We have the smart tags here, and I don't know if you can see them. Oh, pretty okay. I can zoom if necessary. But that is the AI that analyzes this asset when you upload it and suggests all these assets here. All the assets are based on a confidence rate that you can specify, so you can say like, all right, everything that I feel 85% or above confident in, I will keep in the system, and it's searchable afterwards. And that kind of gives the marketeers an easier way to find the assets. Let's look at another one. Let's look at the diver. I don't know. The AI has identified that this picture is from Egypt. That's pretty awesome, right? That it can do that. I don't know that if it's sure about that. I'm not sure about that. But there's a lot of good suggestions here of stuff that you can use to search for if you want to find that picture at a later point.
I'm thinking if I had like a repository of maybe thousands of pictures, and I was looking for something with New York in it, well, how much time would it take me to find these images across maybe numerous folder structures if they're not tagged or even named? So just run them through the smart tagging algorithm, and you're way better off. So
let's see at the New York image here. It identified that it is actually Manhattan that you see here, and gives you a lot of suggestions. And me personally, looking at that image, I wouldn't be able to come up with these tags. So it helps a lot.
We should take you out more often, Stephen.
Yeah, I know. But I'm a developer, so I reside in the cellar drinking Coke all day. Right. So let's just try and upload a file. I want to upload this Ninja. And while that's uploading, let's look at the push. So Adobe Sensei, which the AI is called, which means teacher, identifies this asset or this image as retro, classic, vintage. So it can actually identify an old Porsche to be a classic or to be retro, right? That's also pretty amazing, in my opinion. Let's see if it's done with the Ninja. It's not done with it. We will return to it at a later stage, I promise. All right, that was around smart tagging. In the future, that means very, very soon, maybe the first half year of 2020, we will be able to smart tag on videos too. So when you upload a video, it will go frame by frame through the whole video and identify relevant tags that you can search for in the video at a later stage. Enhanced smart tags. So what's that? So we have customers who are in the manufacturing industry, and they have a lot of assets of what they are manufacturing that Adobe Sensei doesn't know anything about. So if they want to make it able to identify these assets in the future, they need to teach it. So you can teach it yourself, and you can do that by uploading around 20 images, different images from angles or whatever, and you can start a learning algorithm. Let's see that in a demo.
So that means that if I have some brand-specific recognizable stuff like logos, my special headquarter building or something, you can train it to recognize that, and you can use that in your search parameters.
Yeah, exactly. Just before I go into that, I really want to show the Ninja, because Adobe Sensei apparently thinks that a ninja is a criminal. It's a gangster.
And beautiful.
And it's evil. So I don't know if there's some beef going on with Adobe Sensei and the ninja community, but something's happening here, that's for sure. All right, into the enhanced smart tags. So to activate that workflow, I have uploaded a lot of assets with Barcelona on it. It's not that I like Barcelona, I love them. So I select all these assets, and I go in and click Properties here. Then I have added some tags into the system beforehand. I go into that section where I have my custom tags, and I add the FC Barcelona tag to it. I then save it, and then the tags are set on all these assets. What I'll do the next is I go into our workflow engine, and I see if I can find the training, smart tags training, and I start that workflow, and I point to the folder, content, assets, demo. Way down here. Bang. And I started. Then it starts to analyze these images and try to teach itself to be able to recognize them at a later stage. All right. Going back to my assets folder, I have uploaded some assets and cheated like no one else could. I have uploaded one image now. I can upload a couple more just to show that it works. Let's go into my Barcelona for tagging and take a couple of.
Very organized.
Thank you. Did I mention that I'm a developer? So it's processing all these assets, and that's going to take a while. So for demo purposes, let's just start with that one. You saw the smart tags before. It had added all these smart tags automatically, but I have also taught it to add the FC Barcelona tag. So it will recognize that every time or many times when you upload assets with FC Barcelona in it. Right. To further make you understand or enhance, we have actually created a sneak that shows a little bit about how you can teach the classification of that algorithm. So here you can see in images that you have a lot of Barcelona images that have a confidence rate of 99%. Then you have some Liverpool or Manchester, I think it's Manchester United, that are not fitting right, but they're hitting 99% confidence rate. So you drag them over to the negatives. It's more about taking all that is above 85% that is not hitting correctly and throwing it over to the negatives. If there's anything below 85% that is actually positive, you also need to drag that over and teach it more and more. This is not something that's in the product right now, but this will probably get there at some point, and can help you to actually help it a little bit more to learn, right? Smart cropping. Did my mic just?
I just put it down a little bit because it was doing stuff.
Okay. So, working as a creative, you probably have experienced more than once that a marketeer wants you to create like 5 or 6 or 10 different renditions of an image so they can fit it into a banner or they can fit it on a mobile phone or wherever they want to fit it, right? Smart crop kind of takes that work away from you, I'm sorry, but it gives you more time to be creative instead of doing tedious tasks like that. So let's, again, look at the demo, right? To activate smart tags, you need to go in and you define an image profile. So I'm going into the image profile. I have the smart crop defined in here. And here I can set some widths and heights for all the crops that I want to be able to create on the fly out of one image.
So all of these could probably be identified by whatever device is coming in, right?
Yeah, so you could define all the device screen widths or, in here. So when I did that, I activated that on a specific folder in my system here. And I'm just going to click the Smart Crop feature on that folder that has these assets. So as you can see, the definitions that I set in, it automatically finds the focal point in the image and tries to crop at that point. If you're not really satisfied with what's happening here, there's something that's looking different that you expect, like you want to maybe show that part instead, you can just drag them and it will automatically save. And that way you have all the crops needed for your business, and you don't need to have like 5, 6, 10 different renditions created from the creative guy. And no storage, it's just something that is generated when it's requested from a device.
So I think that looks awesome, in particular because just the whole concept of having an asset management system is preserve, of course, the storage, make sure that you have one single source of truth, but also that you can render that to multiple devices and campaigns everywhere, right? So instead of going from, let's consider a campaign where you have maybe 10 assets you want to use, you want to target that for 12 different target groups or devices or sub-campaigns. That's 120 files that you need to create. Let's imagine that you have 10 languages. That's 1,200 images, right? So just optimizing that, letting that asset management system run those renditions for you will save you not only time, space, you'll find it easier, it's ready to render when you need it, and everybody can find it using the tags that you've already set for it.
And you can just grab the URL from the asset management system and use it in RoboHelp. And that way, the kind of devices that you get there, you will get the right rendition with optimized to the right device automatically. Yep. Smart cropping. Let's go further than that. So this is a typical view of how you would watch a video when you're watching it on your iPhone or your Galaxy or whatever smartphone you have. If you turn that around in portrait mode, you get these black boxes on top and bottom. Smart crop introduces, and that's also going to be in the beginning of next year probably, smart cropping for video. So it identifies the focal point in the video and keeps that focal point throughout the whole video, so you can actually see what's going on, where it's going on, and the rest will just be ignored. So it's pretty cool, and we have a video around that also. All right, Creative Cloud integration. So again, the ones of you that are working with Photoshop and InDesign and Illustrator, how are you collaborating with the receiver of these assets? Is it by email, or is it on WeTransfer, or is it by FTP or SharePoint or something like that, back and forth and an email? And do you have totally control of what version you are working on? And do they? So we created an integration between Creative Cloud and the asset management system. And let's see if we can show something about that. All right, in Photoshop, and I like FC Barcelona, I've created this canvas.
So what we hear from customers who are working both sides of experience, where the experience are created in our creative tools, and the ones consuming it, building these experiences to the end customer, is that just taking the time to manage the project from A to Z with just 10 assets can be terrible. It can take a week, it can take weeks. What version is there? Who owns the document right now? It's not like checking in and checking out source. Right? This solution is actually taking the check-in, check-out feature to asset management.
And it works now. So what we did is we created a new panel in Photoshop that has a direct connection into the DAM. So what I'm looking at here is the folder structure of the DAM. I can go down to the demo folder you saw before, go into the Enhanced Smart Tags, and find my Barcelona images. And they're there. I can also just search for maybe football, and I'll find some assets there. Okay. I want to use these assets in my canvas now, so I'm just going to place it in here. Go back to my layers. And I have it already beneath my other layers. I'm just going to resize it. And I'm not a Photoshop expert. I'm sorry, but this is the best I can do. Right, I'm going to save that. It's going to be synced up to my Creative Cloud. Let's see up here if that's going to be updated. I don't want to check out that. It's not been synced yet. It's probably because you're testing out the video now and you're taking all that Wi-Fi bandwidth. All right, doesn't matter. It would have synced up there. So what I can do here is that I can tag, like, I can write Laub. Is this okay? Yeah. You forgot about to tell about the smart thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good
right.
So now I got a notification here saying, is this okay? Hi, dash, it looks fine, though a little gray colorblind on that one, period. Wasn't it Liverpool winning that game, by the way?
That was the second leg. Don't tell me about it. I just want to focus on the positive things today, dude.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah, so we got a reply here from Peter. It's all good. Thank you, we can move on. So let's just find a place for that, just my demo folder, and then I upload that into my DAMs. So I have that in my asset management system for the marketeer to be able to use moving forward. If then I need to make some changes, I don't need to create a new one. I can just directly, like Peter mentioned, check it out from the DAM, do my changes, and check it in again, and it then creates a new version of it in there. So you can always revert back to an earlier version. Visual search, small but neat. So not much to say about that other than search is the most important tool that is in the DAM from my perspective, because the traditional folder structure is evil, in my opinion. It's where stuff gets lost. Like you don't have any idea where you left it, and then you create a new version of it, and you forget about that, and then you have a third version of it. It's just a mess, folder structure. So if the creative people would tag or their assets when they create them, or the photographer would, and if we have added smart tags on it, we're better off. We don't need folder structure. We can find everything by just searching. Enough about that. Let's see that in a demo. Go into this folder. It'll take a little bit of time. What visual search actually can do is, I like lions. I want to find similar assets. And it finds similar assets. There's not much else to say about that, but it's a neat small feature that wherever you are in the system, in whatever folder you are, you can just activate that and find all the assets that looks like that. And how does it work? So the search engine actually has created a vector index or something from the image. I'm not a specialist here. And save that in the Lucene index in the system, and it can then compare that to all the other vectors of assets and find similar images and like that. And this also works in Photoshop, so I could just have taken the same menu and find similar in Photoshop. Smart layout. So smart layout is a help for editors. So we're talking about content management system now. It's creating a web page or creating an experience, and how to have the AI with some insights helping you being smarter about what you create. So we have this website who has recipes. So let's search for some recipes for that from that website. These recipes are, by the way, stored as something called an experience fragment, and an experience fragment is both text and image and HTML markup together in one bundle that you can use and embed anywhere, more or less. So I selected a few and wanted to create an experience out of that. Now the next thing I do is that I select what channels I want to present that experience in. I want to present it in the desktop, in the mobile, and in the newsletter. I'm clicking next. Then I set it up against the KPI. What is important for me with this experience here? This could be any of these 5, but if for a website that is driven by registrations, it's the number of registrations with KPI that we are trying to hook it up against. We're clicking next. Here we're just going to give it a name. I don't know if you have any insight, anything you want to comment here.
I'm just more thinking of if you're a marketer and you want to create a landing page and you have like 20 different target groups, just creating meaningful landing pages individually for those 20 would probably take the rest of the year for me. I'm not a marketer. So just getting the help there to create that in speed.
Yeah, exactly. And what we did here, we created experience here, and this is what the AI automatically just built this web page. You haven't done anything. You had an empty canvas. This is what it created for you as a suggestion. And you can see over here the different kind of experience fragments that you have chosen, how they rate, and how the weight of each has been rated here. Let's go back and let's try and wait for the video to go and select some other audiences here. So let's try and select the vegetarian audience to see how it changes the layout for a vegetarian. And this is real time. This is happening as you do it. So imagine as an author, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can have the AI help you. So this is how it would look for from a vegetarian's.
Well, what it does here is actually picking up the data and the content, and see how that resonates with these target groups, and then put that together in a hierarchy or a prioritized fashion, so they know this is the image or this is the text or the experience that will work better for you to convert, to make you sign up for this newsletter.
Let's try and select every audience we have. Here's a preview of all the renditions, all the experiences that it suggests based on all these. And this is something you can do if you have set it up. That would require, of course, the Adobe Experience Manager. It would require Adobe Analytics and also Adobe Target. But it is something that you can work with, and it can save you a lot of time as a marketeer.
I'm thinking this would even work for AM with XML documentation, because you want to tailor your technical documentation or your support websites to exactly these users that are visiting right now, the next click optimized for that person. I think that this is still in beta, so this could take any shape or form in the Experience universe. But it's definitely something that will get the content out faster in any way of shape or form that you're creating this experience for. If it's for technical documentation, if it's for a full corporate website, or even just a simple landing page.
Auto summarize, so it's nothing to do with a samurai, but let's see what that is. So I have a component here which only consists of text right now. I'm going to edit that one. I have long text here around what has happened the last 48 hours when I was out in the wilderness. So reading a long text like that might be good for desktop, but it's not that good for mobile. People want to have a more engaging, or at least a shorter text for a mobile. So let's create a variation of that and call it mobile. In that variation, I'm just going to click into the text, and I'm going to select summarize text. Then I can choose, now I want to shorten this, and I only want to use 300 words for it.
You lost my kids there.
Yeah.
Way too many words still.
Probably. Yeah, probably. 4 words and a Snapchat. Yeah, so as you can see here, this was the original. This is how it has shortened it. So it goes in and analyzes the text and figures out what is meaningful to keep within the limitation of the 300 words. I'm not going to ask you to read this because.
What if you want to change some of this?
Yeah, if I want to change something, I'm not totally satisfied. Like, okay, I don't agree. You can just click sentences into it again. It's short and easy, and you can preview that, and that's fine. You can summarize it. So that's a pretty easy way to do summarization, and with the help of AI, get some good content out there without having a copywriter. Okay, smart authoring. This is something that came out of the labs. It's not in the product yet. It's a suggestion maybe, and it came from probably a customer. So let's see what's that about. Smart authoring is you insert a text, and it analyzes this text and finds some keywords. And based on these keywords, it suggests assets that you can use for this text. It can also suggest supporting text assets or supporting text. So it gives you, again, a little bit help to build your content a little bit faster. And you don't have to think that much about that. I believe you still have to think, but not about that, at least.
But also it will help you find related text pieces, right? Where, well, maybe someone else in the organization also already writing about this. This could be a newspaper, right? Someone always also picked up on this story. Let's work together on this. So quickly you can get an overview of what's going on in your team or your organization, creating content.
Yeah. Second to last, be patient. Smart translation search. So what is that? With smart translation search, you saw before the smart tags and all the metadata was in English. You can add languages into the system. So if you have authors in other countries using their native language, they are actually able to search through the dam with their native language, and it will find the same assets for them. All right, so let's go in and try and search for something in the system. I'm going to try and search for lion. And it finds a lot of images based on lion. Now in Danish. Løve. And it finds a monkey. Yeah, I don't know why, but it does. Yeah, that's probably been tagged wrongly. So let's look for I can't pronounce that in English. A rhino, yeah. Or let's look for flowers. And in Danish, blomster. So it's kind of an easy way to actually get people to use the system in their own native language. And this is supported by 50 languages. I believe it's almost 60 languages now. Last but not least, smart forms conversion. So we have customers out there in the government or banking industry that has a lot of PDFs, like maybe also healthcare. If you want to fill out your health declaration, many still use that you get a PDF that you can fill out and either email or mail, use PostNord or something like that. and that's not very smart. So we made it smart. What it does is it analyzes the PDF and it tries to reconstruct the digital fields that are equal to the fields in the form. Let's see that. Quite happy. Almost nothing went wrong. It's a live demo, so almost every time things will go wrong. All right, I'm going to create a new folder. So as you've probably seen like something like that in a health declaration, or if you apply for a visa, or even if you apply for a new loan. That's with some banks still. And we want to digitize this. So what I do is I select that folder and I choose automated forms conversion and my setup, and then I can specify what kind of theme do I want. I have some out-of-the-box themes. I want to use the exact theme, and I'm going to start that conversion. This takes some time, so I've again cheated a bit. And I have a final version of that one in here. So let's look at the digital version of that.
So we have customers in, for instance, the financial industry that's taken tens of thousands of forms or form variations and converted that to digital, and taking that out of people's hands, just the errors and the time spent. It's years of man work in doing that. Of course, you can tune it, might even be able to show that, but getting digital in an area like forms and communication, customer communication, this is a super useful tool.
Yeah. And as you see here, we have a digitized version of the same formula with checkboxes and stuff and extra info and yeah, stuff like that. And if you want to enhance this one, you can just go in and select the component. Maybe I want to add the email field in here. Now we are going digital, so just going to add that one to it, and I can just tailor it as I want. But the important thing is here that they can take all their existing PDF forms, and with a workflow that takes around maybe 5 minutes, you have a digitized version of that, and you can start working building on that. It will help you a long way in the system.